Not many people know this, but the 1998 American Godzilla movie was so bad that the Japanese Godzilla movie spent over a decade openly trolling it. Godzilla, or Gojira as he's known in Japan, has been a legendary movie monster since his premiere in 1954. And while he's gone through many iterations over the years, some of which are sillier than others, he started out as a commentary on the devastation of nuclear war. The character is also beloved in the US, but American fans don't necessarily have the same appreciation of his deeper meaning. And this was no more apparent than in 1998 when the American adaptation of Godzilla was released, starring Matthew Broderick and directed by Independence Day filmmaker Roland Emmerich. The American Godzilla looked nothing like the real Godzilla. It was significantly smaller and more dinosaur-looking in appearance. It was also just kind of a generic giant monster destroying New York City for no real reason, whereas the real Godzilla usually has metaphorical meaning behind his attacks. But most of all, Toho, the company that makes Godzilla, and Japanese audiences were offended by some comments made by director Roland Emmerich when he said that his Godzilla was better than the original Godzilla because the original was just a guy in a rubber suit. But Toho got their revenge a few years later, and they did it by basically cucking American Godzilla. In 2004, Toho released Godzilla Final Wars, which was the final film in its Millennium era, and it also coincided with Godzilla's 50th anniversary. So the movie was an epic battle royale showdown between a bunch of legendary Toho movie monsters. The movie featured legendary monsters such as Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, Kaiser Ghidorah, Gigan, and literally dozens of others. But it also featured the 1998 American Godzilla in a hilarious cameo where he gets completely destroyed by the Japanese Godzilla. The American Godzilla shows up in Sydney, Australia and starts fighting the real Godzilla, but it's like half of its size. And while they're fighting, there's some humans on the ground and they're watching, and one of them asks, "Which one is the real Godzilla?" And then the other one responds that the Americans only thought that that was Godzilla, but it's actually a fake imposter named Zilla because it's not a real god. And then the real Godzilla kills Zilla in 15 seconds, and the movie just moves on as if it wasn't an important scene. And then they had him cameo in multiple other movies and comics where the running joke is that it shows up and then gets killed by the real Godzilla in seconds. Toho basically spent the next 15 years just clowning on the American Godzilla. That was until in 2014 when they entered into a new partnership with Legendary Pictures and Warner Brothers to produce a new series of American Godzilla films that would be much more respectful to the source material. Only then did they let the joke go. And, you know, the American Legendary Monsterverse movies are okay.